Hello, I'm Tamara Uzelman. I'm the Superintendent of Schools in Perham-Dent. I want to thank you for tuning in today to give me an opportunity to talk with you about the school levy. The first thing I want to tell you is that it's kind of my honor to have a chance to talk with you, and it's really an important time for me to explain why we need the levy. The first statement I think I need to make is that this levy cannot pass without you. And so I'm coming out and asking you to really give some serious consideration to how important this levy is, both to the community and to the school that is a big part of the community. So the first question you might want to know is what's being proposed. The school board decided after studying state budget forecast and taking a look at enrollment numbers that we do indeed need to go out for a levy. What's being proposed to you is a three-part question. And this is important to go into three parts because it gives voters some power to decide more than just a simple yes or no. So in terms of the three questions, the first question asks for $595 per student. That question must pass in order for questions 2 or 3 to be considered. So question 1 is of extreme importance to the school district. The $595 per student will be used to fund teachers, and that's where the work gets done. When people take a look at the school budget, and approximately 72% of the budget is staff, there really aren't very many other legitimate expenses in a school district. We're a people business, people get the work done, and I would be suspect of any school district that had 50% of their money spent on something other than simply staff, because it's a people business. This $595 per student will help us to keep class size down. If you were to come and look in Perham High School, we have a social studies class with 44 students registered for it. Never in the history of Perham High School have we had class sizes that large. We have a science class, for example, where the teacher needs to take the students out into the hallway because the class is so crowded they can't run the labs in the classroom. Numbers are that large. We have speech classes of 38 and 39 students. When students need to do their work at the computer and do their speech presentation, there simply isn't enough materials for a class that size. So this $595 per student will really help us to alleviate those pressures that are going on with large class sizes. Sometimes people will ask, well, what's the difficulty with a large class size? And the difficulty lies herein. The students with special needs are going to be protected under federal law, and I think they're going to have their needs met. Students for whom school comes extremely easy will still be able to succeed in a larger class. It's the students in the middle, the B and C students, and the C- students who are really going to struggle. In a class of 44, they don't even have 1 minute of teacher time each. And when they start falling behind, that tends to exacerbate itself. So that's what the $595 per student is for. It is the first question. It's the most important question, and that question must pass in order for 2 or 3 to have a chance of passing. The second question is somewhat related to the first, and the second question raises $195 per student. That money will be used to buy textbooks and teaching supplies. To give you an example of how important it is to have those textbooks, I'd like you to know that our social studies textbooks have a copyright of 1990. What that means is the books that students use are older than some of the students. They don't include any material from 9/11, for example, or the events that followed 9/11. We have shortage on library books. We don't have enough math textbooks in many classes for students to take those textbooks home and study. So you have the larger class sizes, limited teacher time, and now the materials that kids need to go home and study with, they don't have. So that's a very serious question for us as well, question 2. And then finally, question 3 takes a look at some large projects that we have postponed, and those are building and maintenance projects. We know that we will have 224,000 square feet of roof come off warranty in the next 5 years. It's our job to keep up the buildings that the district has invested in. These buildings are full. They have between 425 and nearly 500 students each. They're well used, And so what we really are hoping for is to raise funds to take care of those major roofing projects and to make certain that we can deal with heating and ventilation issues that we know are coming as we plan ahead. As citizens, when you consider the school levy, a very important question for you is, what will this cost me? There are a number of places that you can go to find exact cost, and I would like you to know exactly what it will cost per year. You may go to the school's website, which is www.perham.k12.mn.us, or you can telephone me in my office. My number is 218-346-4501. Or you can get a general estimate by looking at the tax impact chart that was mailed to each property owner in the school district. I can tell you that on a $150,000 home, the levy is going to cost you about $10.70 a month, roughly, or about $129 a year. There's an old levy that expired that will no longer be on your taxes if this new levy were to pass. So the new levy would be the only thing on your taxes. Questions 2 and 3 then are $45 each. Please spend time to find out exactly what the levy would cost you. If you're a farmer, please note that your taxes will only impact your house, garage, and 1 acre. The tax is not on your agricultural land beyond the 1 acre, nor is it on your outbuildings. Businesses are taxed at the commercial rate. The commercial property, is taxed at the same rate as households, and that's on the value of the structure. It is not on the value of the total business. So please engage in finding out what those costs will be for the levy. Another question I'm asked most often is, what will happen if the levy fails? As a superintendent, I'm morally and legally obligated to do my best to provide education for children. 90% of the schools in the state are running on an operating levy. That means they have extra dollars to educate their children. Our children in our system will compete with children everywhere, both in Minnesota and across the globe for employment. So my job is going to be to try and find funding in order to provide the education that our kids need. If the levy fails, class sizes will go up, additional programs will be cut, because we just simply have to make budget. The next thing I'd like you to know as you consider the school levy is how important your vote is. And this question is extremely important to the future of the school district. Please take time to vote. You vote at your regular polling place as part of the November 2nd election. Again, when you go into the booth, you're looking at a school levy question. It has 3 parts. The first part must pass in order for questions 2 and 3 to pass. This levy is really significant in terms of our being able to educate children well and providing the kind of school system that this community has been proud of for well over a century. I'd like to thank you for taking time to listen to the levy presentation. I would remind you that we simply can't get this done without your help, and I ask you to please vote on November 2nd. Thank you so much.